What is going on YouTube? Today we're going to be talking about team options when it comes to Aventurine Waveflair. And there are two key aspects about his kit that I think are very important. First and most obvious one is he is an elation character. So obviously he's going to be working on elation teams. There's not really a whole lot of nuance when it comes to that. But one other key aspect about his kit that I think is actually very important to understand is right here. At the start of the battle, if Aventurine Waveflair is the only elation character in the team, when he deals damage using his elation skill, it is considered as follow-up attack. Another teammate using an attack, Aventurine Waveflair gains 2 points of certified banger and 1 punchline and increases Aha's base speed by 25. That is extremely important because of the fact of a twofold, right? Number one, his elation skill, which is going to be occurring very frequently, is going to be considered as follow-up attack. And number two is whenever a teammate uses an attack, which would count as a follow-up attack, ultimate, all of that, then Aventurine gains 2 points of certified banger and 1 punchline, so allowing him to do more overall damage in an Aha instance. And not only that, but he actually would increase Aha's base speed by 25, allowing for Aha to take more action as well. So team building wise, what exactly is going to be the optimal way to go ahead and build Aventurine, right? What should you be focusing on? Well, the first aspect obviously is going to be an elation team, and right off the bat the number one option is going to be Yao Guang, and especially if you have her light cone, being able to further increase its crit rate and crit damage from the light cone alone whenever you activate her ultimate is very pivotal, but also because of the fact that she's able to grant resistance and boost elation damage in and of itself, allowing for another Aha instance to be occurring as well through the ultimate. So there's a bunch of key factors when it comes to Yao Guang, and I've said this before, other content creators have said this before, Yao Guang is just by far the best elation character in the game, and if you don't have her, then the elation concept for Aventurine is kind of just out the window. Moving over to other elation characters, what are the other teammates you could be using as well? Well, the MC is another very good option as well, because of the fact that it allows you to activate Aventurine's enhanced elation skill yet again, allowing more damage and all of that, more punchline generation, which isn't necessarily as important, but what is important is the fact that you are activating another elation skill, whether that be the base or the enhanced. It's just more overall damage for Aventurine, right? And for this little core team setup right here, what would be the fourth option? Well, it wouldn't be Evanescia, simply because of the fact that she's another main DPS dealer that you would want to use the elation MC mainly with. Number two is Sparksy, which Sparksy Aventurine with SW9s is a whole separate debate that I will eventually be covering. Didn't think about that, but yeah, I will be covering that. And then SW9s, obviously, it just, that possibility is there. You're looking at roughly a 5 to 4% increase over Sparksy, but the overall damage I actually think is a little bit less, or is a little bit more, but the speed with Sparksy I think is a little faster, ironically, but you know, that's separately entirely. So this could be an option that you can run. There is no sustained option. A sustained option would be the GOAT Huahua in order to boost the attack, which Aventurine would want as well, while also, especially if you have the E1 from the free copy, is boosts everybody's speed, which, I mean, look at this team right here. Obviously, if you take Silver Wolf out, you boosting the elation MC, which is good, Yao Guang, which is obviously fantastic, but also further boosting Aventurine Waveflair, which is absolutely pivotal and important. So that is essentially what I'm thinking is like the most optimal way team-wise when it comes to Aventurine Waveflair, is having this core right here. Again, you can substitute Silver Wolf in if you want. I don't think that's necessarily the best when it comes to focusing strictly on Aventurine Waveflair. If you're focusing on Silver Wolf level 9s, then obviously, you know, have this right here or just have this, right? So that is the elation setup. Now, when it comes to the teams that don't use elation, and when Aventurine Waveflair is the pivotal and only elation character, what should you be doing? Well, honestly, there are two different aspects when it comes to that. Number one, obviously, is going to be the Husbando team, and that is going to be using Asheville Mortonix Blade in conjunction with Aventurine Waveflair. Obviously, Mortonix Blade being a very, very good supporting character, on par with the new Robin coming out as arguably the best supporting character in the game, being able to provide a defense reduction, increased damage taken, the taunt onto himself for healing and all of that. And then Asheville being used as a follow-up attack engine, with Aventurine having him consider a follow-up attack if he's the only elation character with his elation skill, which is very good. And then obviously, like, these two just cycling with each other with the follow-ups, allowing Aventurine to gain more points of punchline and certified banger for more overall damage with the elation skill. Again, a option here for your sustain option could be Huahua again, especially if you have E1, right? Other options for a sustain character could be Donhung PT. Has a little bit of follow-up attack capabilities with the dragons, being able to provide shield, especially if you also run Lulu Shaka set in conjunction with his own inherent ability. Whoever's first in the party gains increased attack. You can use that with either Aventurine, or you can use that with Asheville, or you can go the non-sustain option and run somebody like, where are you, like maybe even Sunday if you want, or even someone like Sparkle, to allow for advanced action forward and increased crit damage bonuses for Aventurine, especially if you have his light cone in conjunction with his own inherent abilities, boosting just by himself, especially with the light cone. The crit damage increase, and the relic options increase his own crit damage by 96%, I think it is, inherently outside of Harmony supports. Or, I mean, if you really are strapped for other other characters, you could also use the regular Robin here as a follow-up centric team, because Robin will boost the crit damage and all the damage bonus for follow-up attacks with her Concerto state. So everything like that works extremely well. So like these two right here would be the main option when it comes to a follow-up attack team focused around Aventurine Waveflair. So what about the option of not having follow-up attacks? And what about if you are just running him as like a pseudo hyper carry DPS option? Well, again, that works out very good in very similar fashion, I would say, to like someone like Finon, right? You could run these characters right here, or other supporting capability characters who are able to either reduce the enemy's defense, boost overall damage, whether that be true damage or anything. Heck, you can even run like that, like supporting capable options, with Aventurine being the only elation character. Yes, he would be the only one producing follow-up attack damage, but also because of the fact that if he is the only elation character, then he would be like generating certified banger and punchline whenever somebody else takes action. So that is very, very important to understand. Saying that, I definitely think these are probably the only great options for Aventurine at this current moment, right? We could have characters come out later down the line that could help very well. Heck, you can even run your other Aventurine if you really want to, providing that shield, providing that damage reduction with the ultimate. Consistent shielding, it would be very good, and they work well together because of the fact that his follow-up attack, his skill, or not skill, his basic and his ultimate would also be allowing the Waveflair to be generating punchline, certified banger, all of that fun jazz. And then his elation skill would be counted as follow-up, so that allows the old Aventurine to be gaining the necessary points to get up to 7 for the fortified shield. So those are the vast different options, which is kind of crazy given the fact that Aventurine Waveflair is a very easy character to build. When it comes to the team options, it's actually pretty wide open. There is some stipulations, right? Like you don't necessarily want to run him with another hyper carry option. He could be run as hyper carry in an elation team. He could be run as a pseudo hyper carry sub DPS option on a follow-up attack team, or just straight hyper carry with supporting characters and a sustain option. Very easier character to build rather than this character who we'll be covering tomorrow. That's going to be all for me, guys. I'll see you all within the next video.